Are you tired of the same old dull and lifeless, boring XFCE desktop? Or perhaps she's lost interest because your XFCE isn't what it used to be. Well, have no fear, friends, because the new Linux Quest XFCE Drab to Fab video is here. You'll no longer be the laughing stock of your friends and neighbors. In fact, you'll be back to your old self again thanks to the new Linux Quest XFCE Drab to Fab video. And how much is this amazing video, you might ask? Is it $19.95? No! Is it $14.95? No! In fact, this video is absolutely free. That's right, and if you'll act now, we'll throw in an exact duplicate of this amazing video at no cost. That is $0. So call now. Operators are standing by. Not available in Palo Alto, California or Redmond, Washington. Hello Linux fans, Rob here and welcome to Linux Quest, and I hope you enjoyed my commercial intro there. Wanted to have a little Saturday fun really to illustrate how nice you can make the XFCE desktop. I think with the right theming and icon packs and things in place, you can make XFCE as attractive as any other desktop environment out there. So that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to step through some things. I did want to mention though, in the first Antergos video that I posted for 18.5, the one thing I did overlook is that there's actually some updated theming in place there. And so I'll step through and show you kind of what it's going to look like from that aspect, but then jump back over and show you how I got the theme and everything that you see here all set up. So we're going to go step by step through the process so that I can show you what I've done here. But before we kind of get into things, I'll just give you kind of a quick run around. Here I've got a quick access panel for my favorite applications here that are pinned, and you'll notice that I get a pop-up of the Whisker menu, and you'll notice here too that the Whisker menu is themed. So you've got this two-tone gray thing going on here, which I absolutely love. And so I've adjusted things so that when this panel launches, it's the exact same height as my favorites panel that you see here on the left. Up top, we've got a very small panel that is translucent. The icons here to the right, your applet icons, they're going to kind of stay about the same size. They're not all identical in size, but they're pretty darn close. That's one of the things with XFCE with the applets. Some of those, like your volume control, they can be out of place size-wise, but if you keep this top panel small, it'll alleviate that. And so we'll go through some other things that we've got set up here with Conky and things like that. All right, so before we do that, I want to just kind of take things back to what they will be when you first launch into Antergos 18.5 XFCE. So this is pretty close to what you'll see when you first launch into the new Antergos 18.5 XFCE, and I'm happy to see that the folks at Antergos spent some time with some theming for XFCE. They're showing it a little bit of love there, where previously it was plain Jane vanilla XFCE. So now they've included the Whisker menu, and actually I didn't even pick up on the last Antergos video that I did that they had actually put the Numix theming in place. So happy to see that. So we'll jump over here and go into File Manager. You know, Numix has been around for a while, and it's certainly, in my opinion, better than the plain Jane XFCE. You know, it's a little flat for my taste. At any rate, I want to go ahead and go through the steps so that you can see how I set XFCE up as you first saw in the opening of the video. Now, this wallpaper is not default. It's slightly different from what you'll see when you first install, but wallpapers are easy, so we'll go ahead and make that change by right-clicking and scrolling down to desktop settings. Now, if you have another distribution, some of what you see here may be different. So, for example, within Linux Mint XFCE, you may not have some of the options as I'm going through this that you see here within Antergos. All right, so we'll go back over and change to the wallpaper. And you've got some options here. You could change from zoom to scaled or stretched or tiled, things like that. And you can also change the folders where you navigate to wherever your wallpapers are saved, or you could simply choose a solid color. Now you've also got an option here to change the background ever so often. You could set that up for minutes, hours,
days or chronologically. And you've also got an option here for random order. But we're going to go ahead and keep it static as is and close that out. So that's one quick and easy change there. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make some changes to the panel here at the bottom. And while I'm really happy with the Whisker menu, I don't particularly care for the theming, so we're also going to get into some of those theme changes, and that's going to involve several steps here, so bear with me, this may be a longer video. Now the next thing I want to do is I want you to go ahead and go over to your system, add remove software, and that's going to launch Pacman, your package manager here with Antergos, and we are going to use the AUR in this case, because we're going to install, let me go back over here and don't want to get ahead of myself, we are going to install the XFCE theme manager, and I believe that's within the AUR. So if you don't have that turned on by default, you can go into preferences, it'll ask for your system password, so we'll go into that, and you can toggle on the AUR, the Arch User Repository. And what that will do was it'll allow you to search for a lot of themes and icon packs that are within the AUR. So we're going to type search here, XFCE theme, and we should see that pull up. Let me move over to the AUR. Normally it doesn't take this long. And so from there, you'll see the XFCE theme manager. Now, if you just type in XFCE theme, you'll also notice that a lot of other themes pull in. Here's Numix, which is what we have installed by default. This must be a different version. Yeah, this is the dark blue. But you'll notice there are lots of themes here, and you can simply click and install if you find a theme that you like. If you're out and you're searching for something, you can come back here to the AUR, search for it. If it's in place, you can simply install it easily here without having to download it and copy it over into your folders. Alright, so once you've got the theme manager in place, I'm going to go ahead and launch into that so you get an idea of what that's all about. It's different than your built-in theme control. So we'll take a look first at appearance. This is what's built in, and it's going to give you a list of styles here, and you'll see that I've installed, well, there's Numix Frost, that's the default. I've installed some, the Arc Dark and Arc Darker, and you'll see the base XFCE styles or themes in place there as well. And then you'll see your list of icons, so you can scroll through and try those out. You can adjust your fonts from here, and then you've got toolbar styles and things like that that you can adjust. Where XF, not XS, XF Theme Manager comes in is it gives you a little more control. So we'll go ahead and launch into that and take a look so you'll see what this is all about. Not only does it give you a little more control, but you can also get a better view of what it is that you're changing. So here we have themes. So Arc Dark and Arc Darker are two listed here. There's your default. Then you have window borders, and this is an area where you've got really a large list. So the Numix default is in place here. So while we're in here, instead of backing up, I'm going to go ahead and change this over to Arc Darker Solid. And you'll notice that that changes right up top here. Now the next area, over the next tab here, is the control area. And you'll see that right now Numix Frost is selected. We're going to just skip over that. That should change automatically when I go back into Appearance. Or actually, we'll go on over to Theme and choose Arc Darker there. Or Arc Dark, perhaps. Let's see here. All right, and you'll notice now that our panel down here at the bottom has changed. I'm probably going to mess this up. Let's go over here to Arc Dark Solid. And so now you'll see all of that changing. And then over at icons, I've pre-installed some icons here. Here's your Numix. But Arc XP is what I set up. And I'm going to show you how to install that. So we're going to go ahead and change that as well. And you get some control here over your cursor as well. So you see here the Theme Manager gives you a little more capability over your theming, so we're going to change that to Breeze Snow. Next up is wallpapers, and there is the default XFCE blue wallpaper. Alright, so you could save this theme or reset this theme, change your previews down here, and then you've got advanced where you can make adjustments for things. But we're going to leave it as it is, but needless to say, you can already see some of the changes. We've got a dark panel that's increased in size down here, and now you see the Whisker menu has changed over as well. So really like the look so far, but I'm not happy with the way things are at this point. You could stop here and really have, I think, a nice look, but we're going to take it a few steps further. You see here that the applets are out of place because this panel is so large. So let's go ahead and right click, go to panel preferences, and we're going to change a few things here. First of all, we're going to decrease the size. So we're going to take that down to about 25. So much smaller, and you'll notice that the applets all shrink down from there. Then the other thing we're going to do is unlock the panel, and that will allow us to drag the panel up to the top. Now from there, if you like what you have, you can leave it, or you can go into the appearance side and you can choose a couple of things. You could choose solid color or background image, or just use the system style, or you can change the transparency. So we're going to adjust the transparency here to about 75, and I'm going to leave it just like that. You can also add or remove items from the panel up here, and in this case we're going to go ahead and remove the Whisker menu because I'm going to use that in another area. So we'll remove that, and then the other thing I'm going to remove is the date and time, because I'm going to also put that in a different area by using a widget or what's called the Conky manager, and we'll go ahead and set that up next. So let's remove the date and time. And my goal here is to keep things kind of simple and clean. So you know, but you could just have a top panel or a bottom panel and run everything in the panel, including your shortcuts to your applications. Alright, so from there, everything's good. We're going to go ahead and lock that panel back, and I'll hit close. Now the next thing you'd want to do, actually I should have left that window open, so the next thing I am going to do is add another panel. So we're going to go to panel preferences, and from here we're just going to click on the plus sign, and that's going to add a new panel for us. And so with this new panel, just like this panel up top here, there are things that we can add to this panel to change the function of the panel so that we can use it, you know, as a launcher. We could use it as a place just to show your minimized apps. You could use it as a place to put your desktop switcher. There's a myriad of things that you could do with these extra panels. You could put a clock in there and the date in there and just have it floating on your desktop somewhere, just to give you some ideas. But for now, we're going to go ahead and add back in the Whisker menu. So we'll add that. It's going to be large, but we'll keep it like that for now so that you can see things. And what else did we want to add? Let's see here. We'll go ahead and add a directory menu, a file directory menu. And we'll go ahead and add the screenshot tool there. And we'll also add the show desktop. Now the next thing we're going to do, once we've got everything added from this setting, is we're going to go over to appearance, and we're going to keep that at system style, but we'll take this down and add a little transparency to this as well. I think we had the other at 75, so we'll set this at 75. And then on display, you've got a couple of modes here. So you go to the display tab, and we're going to use this in the vertical mode. And so when you do that, you'll see it turns for you, or you've got desk bar mode. To me, they're pretty close to the same. I know there are some differences here. I'm not sure what all of the differences are. And you could also set this up to use it automatically on all of your desktops, or monitor 1 and monitor 2. So if you've got a dual monitor set up, you can get very configured with this panel so that it only shows up maybe on your left monitor and not on your right monitor, for example. You've got an option here to span monitors. Now we're going to go ahead and drag this over, And let's go back to, let's go back over here to appearance, and I'm going to take that down to about 42, and we'll leave it there. And you can choose automatically increase the length or turn that off and set the length up yourself. Right now we're going to leave it here. I may go back and change that later. Alright, so now that that's in place, I want to take my Whisker menu and I want to move that down here to the bottom. And you'll see that we've got a pop-up here of the Whisker menu now, and it pops up right beside the panel. And then I'm going to move Show Desktop. I'm going to move it up to the top. And you see how easy that is. You've got a red line that'll pop up there, and you can just slide it right in place. Now I've got a couple of other favorite applications that I also want to put there, so we're going to right-click, and we're going to add the link to the web browser there. So we'll say Add to Panel, and you'll get a pop-up asking which panel. So you could choose up top, or you could choose this new panel here. So we'll go ahead and add it to that. And let's see here, what else do I want to put there? Let's go over to Accessories, and I've got that. So let's go ahead and put the calculator there. So we'll add that to panel 1 in this case. And let's move on over here to Multimedia. We'll put Simple Screen Recorder there. Now that icon's a little different. I'm going to hold off on that for now, but I will put Kdenlive there. We'll add that to the panel. And anything else we want to put there? Free Office. Been using that lately. Mixed results. We might do another video on that. So you get the idea. You can just simply click through all of your applications and right click on those applications and pin them right to the panel. So let's see here. I'm going to scroll through, see what else we may want to add there. I'm going to add Shotwell. Alright, so we'll leave it there for now, and I'm going to scroll this on down just a bit here in size. And now we've got to move our Whisker menu again. And you can rearrange any of these. Just simply right click, slide them around as you see fit. Alright, there we go. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change up the Whisker menu. So we're going to go ahead and get into settings there for that. And the way we're going to do that is right click and go to Properties. And within the Whisker menu, you can really change this thing and give it a very unique look. That's one of the things I love about the Whisker menu, is the configuration that you have to really make it something that's comfortable for you to use. And that's, for me, that's what it's all about. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the application description so that you don't see a lot of verbiage there. I'm going to leave the application tooltips on. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the icon here for the Whisker menu. Let me double click that. That should open up a list of system menus. And from there, instead of application icons, I'm going to go into menu icons, and we'll just take a look and see what we've got here. I like the star, so we'll change it to that, and you'll see that it changed down here in the lower left. Now if you preferred, you could go with icon and title, and you could add a title down there, as you see here right on the bottom. So now we've got that. Now on the icon size, that'll be the icons that are listed under the menu. We could change that and then change the category icon size as well. So this is the icon for the application itself, and this is the category icons. So I'm going to change that to small, and then I'll change the item icon to smaller, or application icon to smaller. Next up, we'll go over here to behavior, and we're going to switch the categories by hovering. So when you scroll your cursor, the categories will automatically change. And then I'm going to change the search entry next to the panel button, or excuse me, I'm going to change the position categories next to the panel button. I'm also going to toggle off include favorites, and I'll just take that down. Not that you need to, but I'm going to take that down. Right now I'm going to keep the commands as they are and the search actions as they are, and we'll go ahead and click close so that you can see what that looks like. Now you've got your main categories here, and the icons are pretty close in size to what you see in your panel. Maybe you don't want those icons, so let's go back in, and I normally turn those off. Let's go back into properties, and we'll take a look here at category icon size, and we'll say none. So this will give you an example of what that's going to look like. That's kind of much cleaner there. Now you can change the size of this Whisker menu. If you wanted to stretch this on up, you could. I just, for the sake of this and the theming, wanted to keep this all the same length here. Now for some reason the application description didn't turn off, so we're going to go ahead and go back in and turn that off. So we'll right click, properties, show application description, close, and now you've got a much cleaner, in my opinion, a much cleaner appearance there with just a list of the applications. So we'll make that window a little smaller, and everything's pretty much in place. Now you've got some options you could toggle off here as well. You could toggle off lock screen, all settings, switch users. So let's just go ahead while we're here. We might as well do that so you can see what that looks like. So under commands, we'll turn off edit profile, we'll turn off log out, and switch users. And now you'll see not as many settings there. All right, so we've got that in place. We've got our top panel in place. We've got the translucency set up. So everything's looking pretty good. Let's go into the file manager. And now we've got Thunar set up. It's themed and in place. So how do you get all of these themes and icons? Oh, one thing that I need to change, I can tell. So you'll see here that the window is not opening up all the way. And that's because our panel here on the left, it stays on. It's not automatically hiding behind the window. So we need to go in and adjust that. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to go to a blank space here on the panel. We'll go to panel preferences, and we can choose automatically hide the panel. You've got never here. If you go to intelligently, it will put itself out of the way anytime you open up a window. So now let's go back into the file manager, and you'll see that that panel disappears until you put your cursor over here to the left, and now it's going to pop out and give you access to your menu. And you can interact with it like you would any other panel. Now this panel here at the top, it stays on all the time, but you could toggle it off as well. You could tell it to hide all the time. It could be intelligent hide, or as we have it here, keep it on. Okay, so the next step we're going to take here is I'm going to step through the process of adding a command within the Thunar file browser that allows you to open system files as root, because you're going to need access to the icon folder. This is a shortcut I placed here, and the theme folder. So that command, we're going to go to Edit, Configure Custom Actions, and we're going to add an Open as Root Here action. And that's one of the great things about the Thunar browser is you can add these custom actions. So we're going to go into Edit mode, and you'll see here you can give it a name, Open as Root or Open Root, whatever you want to call it there. The description, I put Root Action. You could just call it Root if you prefer. And then you've got the command here, which I'll post in the video notes down below. So in case you can't see it here in the video. Once you've got that in place, then on right click, you'll have that custom action or command. So I'm going to go ahead and hit close here. And then the next thing you're going to want to do is go into File System, and then you're going to navigate to the icon folder, which is in USR or User Share, and then you'll see icons. So if we go down here to icons, you have the option of, you could left click and drag that over to your places and pin it there as you see mine. That way you'll have a shortcut for quick access to themes, which you'll do the same, user share themes, and then you could drag that over, and now you've got quick access so that you could right click and choose Open as Root Here. Now it's going to ask for your password when you do that. And now you're in root mode, which will allow you to paste your theme packs that you download right here. So you'll see all of these listed. nice big full list of themes, and you can spend a lot of time trying all of these themes if you like. Some of them I've never tried and just kind of skip over them and you know, have what I like. All right, so from there, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to jump over here to the World Wide Web, and we're going to download some theme packs. So a nice place to go if you've never been, and I imagine everyone watching this video has heard of XFCE Look. And you'll find this with various desktops. You've got KDE Look, GNOME, or GNOME Look. And essentially this is a website where people list themes and software, or excuse me, themes and icon packs, and wallpapers, and anything to do with the theming of your desktop environment. And these are all free. So you've got people who have spent a lot of time and energy, you know, adding all of this here for your use. And again, it's all free. So make sure you go in and you give your thumbs up and your thanks and all of that. Now, what I've got set up and in place here, and you can spend hours, believe me, hours upon hours going through looking at these things. You can get lost in it. There's really some high quality stuff here. But I have bookmarked two here. So the first one we're going to go to, well, is ArcX. And so the ArcX collection, or the ArcX icons here, you'll get a preview. That's what I've got in place. Extremely nice, and for the most part fill throughout the system, meaning I have very few missing icons. And so what we're going to do with that is you would right click, or excuse me, go to Files, and then come over here and click on the Download button. And there's a way to install this through the browser, but I'm just going to show you this route because it's quick and easy. So you're going to go ahead and download that pack, and the same with the XFCE -D-Pro theme, which is what we have in place here as well. Same procedure. You'll go over and you'll download that. And once you've got this downloaded, you're going to have, let's go over here to downloads. You're going to have a zip file here, as you see, Pro Dark. So you'll right click and you'll extract that into a folder. Now, once you've got that extracted into a folder, you can right click on that and go to copy, and then come over here. Now you want to make sure if it's a theme pack, it needs to go in the theme folder. If it's an icon pack, it needs to go in the icon folder. Does that make sense or what? Anyway, so now we're going to right click and open as root here. We'll give it our password. And now once you're in, you can right click and you can paste that folder. If you didn't have root access, none of that would be available to you. You couldn't copy and paste that easy. So that's why we stepped through giving you that root access command. So once that's pasted there, now you can go back into your XFCE, I'm going to get it right, XFCE Theme Manager, and apply that theme. Or you could simply go right into the appearance, built-in appearance setting, and apply that theme. So we'll jump over here to appearance, and you'll see that that's in place now. So we'll gonna come over here. Well, there we go. Not sure what happened there, but now you see XFCE Pro there in place. You may, and there may be instances when you apply a theme that you have to log out and log back in for that theme to completely apply itself throughout your system. And this applies to your user desktop environment. This particular theme does not apply to your login screen or anything like that, but there are ways to theme that up as well and give it a custom look. So last but certainly not least, we're going to set up the Conky widget and the Conky manager so we can add our clock right here that you saw at the beginning of the video. So we're going to go right into the package manager, and we're going to go over to search, and we'll type in Conky, C-O-N-K-Y, and from there you're going to see Conky and then the Conky manager, and you may want to go ahead and add the Conky weather font while you're at it and get all three of those installed. Once those are installed, you're going to launch into the Conky manager. And from there, you'll be able to launch some of the built-in Conkies. Now, you can add Conkies to this as well, but we'll save that for another video. One that I particularly like and use quite often is called Gotham. So if you'll highlight that, you're going to notice here, let's go ahead and maximize this window. I was going to drag it out. You'll notice here how things are set up, but you've got some options to go in and set that up. Primarily, without spending a tremendous amount of time, you can change where this is located with alignment, so it could be middle, left, or right. So we'll go ahead and set that up. You could change the transparency, so we're going to bump that up just to, actually, let's go to transparent, and let's see here, semi-transparent, and then you can adjust the transparency level. So we're going to take that to about 60 and click apply, and let's just go ahead and close this out, and we should see our Conky set up right here. Now you can adjust the height, you've got fine-tune adjustment and things like that, but again, you could actually, I've got a video on that. It's an older video, but there's lots of settings within the Conky widget and manager that allow you to position this thing, change the look, change the font, add all kinds of conditions and setting information. It's a really powerful way to customize the look and things you see and interact with within your desktop. So anyway, hope you like what you see here. This is just one example of the thousands of ways that you can customize XFCE to look absolutely amazing and fabulous. If you like what you saw here, give me a thumbs up. If you've got some ideas or suggestions that you'd like to share with everyone else, go ahead and post those down below. That's always fun to see. And as always, thanks for watching.